the question was pretty much, let me pull it up here real quick. It says, if you doubled your income today, do you think all of your money problems will be solved? And I'm curious to hear, for anyone that's listening, ask yourself that question, take a pause, and really sit with yourself for maybe 2 to 3 minutes. And
Look, hell of an intro. I tell you what you in for, but I never really been the type of dude to give no info.
welcome to the Welcome Girl Show, everyone. It's Ronnie and Courtney on the mic. And as we always like to start every episode off, is identify how are you doing? So, Courtney, how are you doing today?
I'm okay today. I'm a little sleepy. Kind of just threw this meeting together, so
Yeah.
needed to do some extra work this weekend. So yeah, feeling a little sleepy, but that's okay. I
The
got some stuff.
behind the scenes work that they don't see or they don't even know
Exactly.
about. I mean, I don't
No
know
days off for Courtney and Ronnie.
Whoa. At some point we will have days off and you're gonna be like, man, we live for this moment. We live for these, but it's
Mhm.
just a matter of, right now it's not, I guess, where we're at. And I could even say that on my end, right? You're saying no days off, and I'm like, man, I really like, if there's one day I've really felt like, really not doing anything, today is for sure that day where I'm just
Mhm.
like, man, do I really have to do it? But I like to tell myself this, whenever I feel like, I start questioning, do I really have to do this? Why I don't feel like doing it? Then I really do it. I just tell myself that's another reason why you
It's like
really have
reminder.
to do it. So
Mhm.
I'm sure I'm not the only one that always questions himself when doing something, and it's like, I'll do it later, or I don't want to do it because maybe you're getting nervous or you're getting anxious about something. But in those
Yeah.
moments, I really do it. I mean, if I ever feel like that, at least. Maybe it's not going to work for everybody, but it works for me because obviously I'm feeling like that for a reason, and
Mhm.
so I just push myself at that point.
Well, and it's why do you feel that you don't want to do it? Because I'll be the first person, I know we're doing this together, but I'll be the first person to say, like, if you're listening to your body and you're really not feeling it, like your body's telling you need to rest, your body's
Yeah.
telling you need, things like that, then you should be taking that time off. But
Absolutely. I
yeah.
agree. I couldn't agree
So,
more. I'm just that other guy that my
hmm
body's saying one thing, my mind says another. I'm gonna go with whatever action I have to do, and that's 9 times out of 10 listen to my mind more than my body. But we're still here. We're still breathing this fresh air, so that's always a blessing. But I want to go right into it. I came across a question, and this is gonna lead right into our topic. It the question was pretty much. Let me pull it up here real quick. It says, if you doubled your income today, do you think all of your money problems will be solved? And I'm curious to hear, for anyone that's listening, ask yourself that question, take a pause, and really sit with yourself for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and then hear from our perspective. But Courtney, I want to hear, what would you have to say on that first?
would all of my money problems be solved? Some of my money problems include just wanting to spend it. So
Mm.
like the problems that I have with me, like more money wouldn't necessarily solve that. I
Mm.
don't think I am like I don't think I spend money in a stupid way, or I don't
Mm.
think I like throw money away by any means. I think the way that I handle my money is I'm more on the side of like living, and like
Mm-hmm.
I know that this is going to bring me joy. I know that this is going to, like I think I don't know if I brought it up previously, but like concerts is one of the things that
Yeah.
probably is the most money that I, put into one place,
Mm.
but it brings me so much joy, and like the way it makes me feel. I've told my mom before, I'm like, if it ever comes down to am I going to spend money on this live music, the answer is yes, like almost 100% of the time, because every time I do it, I'm like, this is so worth it, and just the feeling that I have. So so that's me and my spending, I guess. But right now where I'm at, it's kind of like my entire paycheck is rent, like almost to the like penny goes
Mm.
directly to rent. So I have one paycheck to do everything else the rest of the month. So
Yeah.
yes, if I had double, it would
Yeah.
absolutely change things. And it's just because I want to be able to put some towards savings, or I want to be able to put some. I still do have student loans. We can get into that
Oh my
conversation.
gosh.
I still like I
That's
have yeah. There's a lot
that's
of stuff
coming
that is
back.
draining. Yes, exactly. So yeah, I would love to be able to. set some aside and not just be like, okay, I have $100 till Friday.
Mm.
Woohoo! Like,
Right, right, right.
and then get the next paycheck and go from there. But so yeah, that specifically for me, doubling it would be very helpful.
Yeah, I
But
can agree for myself as well. Doubling it will be helpful. It just gives me more flexibility and more. I mean, not to say I don't need it. I think anybody who doubles their income, congratulations. You know, keep doing what you're doing. It's working. Don't like shy away or don't pound yourself because you doubled your income. That's good. As I like to say, my tax income is like my report card as an adult. We all have report cards as kids, but it's like, what is the adult report card? And I use my income taxes. So as long as I see that number increasing, I'm fine. But yes, to answer the question in short, I personally would say yes, it will help me because it gives me more flexibility, the ability to do what it is that I want to do it. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking like, no, no shit, Ronnie. Like, no, duh, it
yeah,
would help me.
more
But I
money. Yeah.
also, yeah, I also do think that it can hurt many people in the long run as well. Because if you're someone that maybe doesn't have the language of money understood, or even you're just spending way more, doubling your income, that just means you're going to spend twice as much. So are you really helping yourself in the long run, or are you just temporarily going to solve, I guess, the I guess the dopamine that you want to fulfill for that for that time being?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I think, and like I said, like both of us said, everyone's very different. I think for me,
Yeah.
it's like I've been struggling with you have no money, you're still purchasing these things. Like,
Mm,
I'm not going crazy, or like I said, I don't think I have any like stupid spending habits, um, but I haven't completely stopped spending when it comes to getting a coffee in the morning, getting
yeah.
just things that I'm like, this, I know this would make me feel better, so I'm gonna do it.
Mm.
Um, just I was on the phone with my mom the other day, bring up mom a bunch today. And I was like, this picture frame's 99 cents. She's like, what do you need a picture frame for? I'm like, because it's 99 cents. Like,
Yeah.
just things like that, right? So just things come up and you get excited about it, and I guess that's the type of spender I am. But at the same time, I think if my income increased, it would be the same level of spending. I
So
don't think I
yes,
spend
yes.
more. I think that's just the type of spender that I am. It wouldn't be
You
like, oh, now I'm going to get a $5 picture frame. Like, I'm still going to be excited about the 99-cent picture frame.
So you
But
don't think so to that point, because I think if you were to double your income, I think you would still spend just as much, personally speaking,
that's
based
that's what
off
I'm
of.
saying. I would spend like the same amount that I'm spending now, which right now is I'm struggling because I don't have the money. So
So
I don't think I would increase it. I don't think it
really,
would.
I think you will increase it because for that reason, you had to call your mom and say, "Hey, 99-cent picture frame,"
Mhm.
and your mom was like, "What the hell you need a picture frame for?"
Well,
It's-
she knows I love picture frames, but
okay.
but yeah, I don't. I mean, in terms of the things, like I said, the things that when I think about where my money goes, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, like I said, concerts. That's the main thing in terms of just like entertainment or like things that I'm doing outside the house.
Mm-hmm.
Rugby, like traveling for rugby or dues for rugby, and it would genuinely be coffee, like
Wow.
coffee or just like quick eating out. Like I'm out, I'm doing something, so I'm gonna eat out. Or if I'm spending time with friends, will usually be dinner or something like that. But
Right.
but those types of things, I just had dinner with my friend the other day. I knew what my money looked like, but
Yeah.
I know that that time with my friend was more valuable to me than
Mm.
budgeting. Like,
Okay.
so I don't, those types of things I haven't necessarily cut off. If there's ever a time, it's now, just in terms of what I need. So I think those things would stay consistent. I might be like, okay, I have it here. There's a couple things that I feel like I need, a couple things that are a little bit more expensive that I know that I would need. And if I had the money, I would get it, but I don't think it would be consistent. We're getting dinner every night.
Right.
You
Right.
know, anything like that, or like getting front row seats at concerts. It's not like that.
It's not that serious. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it would
That's
stay
fair.
pretty consistent.
I would say, and this is really a PSA for everyone that is doubling their income. Of course, we're already looking at 2024, so income taxes is right around the corner. This is a great time for you to see how well was your 2023, and to see, did you double your income, and if so, where did your money go? Because again, it's a lot of times where at least I can have these conversations, and where people are like, "Oh, I need more money. I need more money." It's like, well, where's your money actually going? Have you actually taken a look to see how many subscriptions are actually getting or taking your money? Because that's, for the most part, that's what's really ripping us all apart, is the
Mm-hmm.
subscription base. But you bring up value when you mention going to eat dinner with a friend, or do I just value, hey, no dinner with time spent
Mm-hmm.
with friends. Let's just bunker in. So then I want to ask you this question: do you believe money can buy you happiness?
Mm-hmm. Um, I think this conversation that we've already been having in terms of, I mean, I guess I said money buys me concerts, and money gets me to play rugby and travel with
Yeah.
my team, and money gets me to, you know, in the morning. So many. I mean, I know so many people feel this way, where it's like in the morning, it's like I'm not going to work unless I get coffee. And
Mm.
I've found ways to make that cheaper, but like it definitely is a mood changer,
Coffee?
a mood fixer. Just the ability to do those things. Coffee, yeah, for sure. But just the ability to say like, there are for sure some days where it's like I feel like I really need this, or this would help me tremendously, and I cannot pay for it right now,
Yeah.
and that's hard. I had an example. This is a very silly example, but my beautiful dog, who always loves to bother me while we're doing this, got into the trash recently, and all I could think about
Mm.
was, if you need to go to the vet, like how am I going to pay for that? And
Hmm.
just stuff like that. And it's not about the money in that situation. Of course, I don't want him to be sick. Of course, I want him to be healthy. But
Right.
genuinely, like I would need money to make sure he's healthy. I would need money to make sure he's okay. So there's a lot of. I think it would take away a lot of worry. I think it would take a lot away. Well, take
Okay.
away a lot of stress. Take away a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of like hurt and unsafety, lack of safety. What is going on today? But anyway, like a lack of safety going on in the world, and just with prices going up for everything. So I haven't answered the question, but I think I've answered the question
I
as
think you did.
usual.
At least I understood what you're trying to get out of it. And this is someone that really I pay very close attention to money. One thing that to kind of, you mentioned prices are going up. One thing that, it's not a shocker to me. I'll tell you that. Just look. I mean, you don't have to even look back into history, but just think about your upbringing. Is one of the ways. If especially if you're someone who pays rent, I really want you to think about, when has your rent ever gone down? And that is really gonna be an eye opener, because that's how I break it down to everyone. Really, it's like, prices are going up. Oh my god! And for someone who's paying rent, I said, well, when has your rent price ever gone down?
Hmm.
I'll wait for the answer for it, because it's not frequently where that actually happens.
Hmm.
And so I say all this to say, really, prices of everything are going to continuously rise. So this is more of like it's not a warning, it's not a fear mongering. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to bring awareness and shed a light on something that is happening all around us, but it happens so fast that sometimes in the moment we don't realize what's happening.
Hmm.
So prices will continue to go up over the longevity of our lives. So whatever it is that you want today, there's a possibility it will not be the same price 5, 10 years from now. And if it's not the same price, there's a very big opportunity, a chance that it's going to be more. So just prepare yourself for that. um,
Always a voice of positivity.
uh, I just want
No,
my
I
people to
know.
be great. That's all.
It's no, it's real. It's real. And there's also just like the life aspect of like, yeah, my rent went up, and
Yeah.
I moved into a different place. I moved into a house instead of an apartment. So of course it's going to go up, but because of life circumstances, it more than doubled.
Mm.
And so it wasn't
Mm.
only just the rent, but so to go from, I was at the beginning of the year I was paying 800, and I'm over 2000 now. So just
That's a
which
huge jump. Yeah.
is, yeah, so and it's not to talk about, I know we're not talking about specific numbers, but just to, and then my income didn't increase that much, you
Yeah.
know. So things like that, where it's like, yeah, we know things are going up, we can expect certain things to happen in our lives, and just the way kind of our country works, um but at the same time, these life things happen. Just like I said, if something did happen to Pua, if he did end up getting sick from whatever
Yeah.
was in the
What do you
trash can,
do?
like how do we handle those things? And when it goes back to the question of like happiness, does it bring you happiness, does it bring you joy? I think we could also bring in, does it bring you like contentment? Does it bring you safety? Does it bring you, those types of things? I think
Does
that,
money? I think money. I mean, for myself, I
yeah,
can only speak. Yes, it does.
yeah.
I think it has a weird way of operating, right? So,
Hmm.
I think money can bring you happiness if and only if you're actually doing the right things with it.
Hmm.
If, for instance, I mean, there's plenty of people we can interview or talk to and say, "Does money bring you happiness?" There's probably going to be a plethora of people who says yes, and a plethora of
Hmm.
people who says no. It's
Yeah.
just okay. Well, why is that the case? Especially for those multi-billionaires, millionaires who are literally there's plenty of them that maybe not plenty, but there's people out there who have all the money in the world, but still are not happy, and it's just like,
Hmm.
why would
Absolutely.
you be unhappy?
Hmm. Hmm.
It's just I look at it as like, yes, money can bring you happiness, especially if you're using it in the right way, in the right as a tool that it is. But if you don't have the, I'll go back to saying it. If you don't have the language of money understood, then you're probably going to be in the same situation. Just if anything, you just magnifying your problems even more. You just
Hmm.
made it a
Hmm.
little bit bigger than what it is by spending much more than what it is that you possibly need to spend. I
Hmm.
am not a financial coach or expert. I just have these type of I see what goes on, and these are things I had to work through myself. Which is all right. Where's my money going? I think that's the first step for anybody to really, whoever wants to get a hold of their money. Not to say problems, but just to get on top of the money that comes in and money goes out. Is where's your money going first? I mean,
Yeah.
how I would say it again. How often is that we can go look at a subscription and we're like, man, we haven't watched this. I haven't watched
Hmm.
Disney Plus. Shout out to Disney Plus. I got nothing bad about you guys, but like, I haven't watched Disney Plus since so long. Like, so then why are you still paying for it?
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's something as small as that over the course of 12 months or 6 months or so, it adds up, and
Hmm.
all that money could be spent. It could be better used elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. No, that makes sense. And I think a lot of it comes down to like, that like immediate gratification as well, where it's
Mm.
like, this makes me happy now.
Yeah,
But
but
then you
that
think about it and you reflect back on it, and it's like, is it? Well, I just mean in terms of the question itself, does money bring you happiness,
uh,
right?
that's
Answer
fair.
it in terms of like it. Yes, this. I went out and I spent $300 on just straight up alcohol. This is just an example. I don't do that. But
I'm glad you
like,
don't.
because I don't have that money. I know exactly what store has wine for $3. So that's the
Yeah.
type of money I spend on alcohol. But anyway, so but some people, like, I had a great night. That weekend was epic because we spent so much money on alcohol, and it's like, is that what brings you happiness? But
Right.
then, are you the type of person that then sees that come out and you're like, why did I do that? Or like,
And I can even
and
I'll even take it a step further. This is probably a couple of weeks ago. I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw there was, I believe, these guys. So essentially, let me paint the picture for you guys. It was a clip of two people in VIP sections at a club. I don't remember the location, but they were
Mhm,
from two different cities. Essentially, they were competing with each other. I
mhm,
don't know at what point in time that maybe it was towards the end of the night where you can't leave with any bottles, but they're in a VIP section with a ton of bottles, and based off of what I saw, those bottles were not cheap. I mean,
yeah,
we're talking 1942 Class A
yeah,
Azul, like
yeah,
those bottles are pretty pricey inside a
yeah,
VIP section, and
mhm,
they were literally just pouring it out. Like everyone was just pouring it out. I'm like, you guys could have just got everybody in the club drunk instead of doing
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what was the purpose of doing that? But at that moment, there was obviously something going on.
mhm,
Someone was trying to prove one party over another, like,
yeah,
hey, we're better off, or whatever the case may be. But
mhm,
that made them happy because why in the
yeah,
hell would you do that?
yes,
That's your
yes,
money. You're
exactly,
literally just throwing on
exactly,
the ground. Might as well
yeah.
just rip it up and burn it instead. Like, come
Mhm.
on now.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of things, we don't have to get, completely off tangent, but I think there's a lot of
Yeah,
things that we do for that instant gratification,
yeah,
for that like immediate feeling of happiness. And it's more of like a brief feeling, rather than like, how does this actually make me feel over time? Does this
yeah.
actually help me to grow over time? So it's just kind of how you see happiness, And I know I've brought up a couple different words and emotions before, but I think in terms of happiness, it's more, when I think of happiness, I think it's more over time. Am I a happy person, like in
Mm-hmm.
general? Do I have a happy life, like that type of thing? When I think of joy, it's more of like, it feels more instantaneous. Like I feel joy right now. I feel joyful
Mm-hmm.
right now, or just things like that. So I think of that more short term. So it's kind of like, I do think if I go back to concerts, if I go back to events, things like that,
Yeah.
it's more of like that brought me joy. Where in terms of happiness, it's like overall, could it improve happiness overall? And I think the happiness part goes more into safety, because it's like, if I know that I can provide for my family moving forward, that's a long-term feeling. That's going to be
Yeah.
happiness,
Yeah.
right? Or if
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be safe because I know I can handle stuff. I know Pua is going to be healthy because I know anything that happens to him, I can handle that. Like that
Right.
is going to bring me happiness. So yeah.
It's all gonna
I
be.
hate to be that person that's like, yeah, for sure money can buy happiness. But we
But
really come down to it and talk about it. Yeah.
I mean, you said it. You hate to be the only person. Let me see if I could find somebody that would disagree with us, right? As I'm going through my
Who's gonna
contacts right now.
say no?
um, let's see. And as I'm gonna go ahead and call one of my buddies here, I actually want to say this. It's gonna be dependent on who you are and what your life even looks like. So if you don't have
Mm-hmm.
that identified and you're like, yeah, money's gonna make you happy, but you don't even know what that even entitles, like what that life with that money even looks like, then
Mm-hmm.
chances are you're gonna be living the same cycle, my friend. And I hate to be
That's
the guy, but let's see if he picks up. This would be pretty interesting and cool if he does.
hmm. This is a surprise to me. We're all gonna find out who it is together.
Ah, got him.
Yo.
Yo, I just want to let you know you are live on the Walk and Grow podcast, so please don't say anything that will incriminate yourself. But we are having a conversation about can money buy you happiness, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it. And by the way, guys, this is Chris. He's a good buddy of mine. If you guys don't know him, but yeah, I'm curious to know what your thoughts is on that question.
Repeat the question one more time. Sorry, I had the NC State game on in the background.
They're playing right now.
Well, they got a rain delay in Raleigh, so.
What's the score?
3-0, Notre Dame's up.
Okay, so what quarter?
Beginning of the second, but since the rain delay, everything's on pause.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We know somebody that plays for NC State, so I'm just getting information. But the question was, can money buy you happiness?
To an extent. I think it's an important part of happiness in today's society, because lack of money will drive you to unhappiness, right? When you can't pay your bills and people are kicking you out and evicting you, you got to move from spot to spot. So I think it plays about 70% of it. And the other 30% would be, just your everyday relationships with the people you love, your family, and or whoever you consider family, right? It could be friends, but anything that affects your peace, as long as it doesn't affect your peace, you'll be happy. In my eyes, right? Mm. So if getting evicted affects your peace, well, you need some money not to get evicted. So anything that affects your peace in my life is what I've summed up as what can affect my happiness, and money is one of those things, right? So yeah.
So based off of what I got from that, is that a hard yes, a hard no, or you're in the middle?
In our society, I'll give it a hard yes.
Okay. That's all. Just wanted to hear your perspective on that. We're going back and forth here, so you could tune in on Tuesday and you could tap in and hear what we got to say on that.
Fair enough.
All right, man.
All right. Catch you later.
All right, peace. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Back to back.
That's so true, though. Is like, I mean, and I brought up safety. But that's true. It's like peace. I just like how it wasn't even necessarily money related. It was like, if this is going to impact my peace, it's going to impact my happiness, and that makes a lot of sense. And then when if you're saying money impacts your peace, then yeah, for sure, that makes sense. I'm very impressed by your friend's ability to just like,
what are you trying to say about my friends, huh? What are you trying to say
No,
about my friends? Really? That's where we're
what
going?
I'm trying to say is I will sit here for half an hour and be like, I don't know how to answer this question. Your friends are like, 3 minutes, this is how I feel. Yeah. I had no idea this. You tell me the topic ahead of time and I'm like, I don't know. They're just like, oh, here we go, phone call. Yeah, I already have the answer ready. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just, if you called me, I'd be like, ooh, money, happiness. Like I don't, I think it's cool that people, yeah. I clearly I go all over the place. Like I have a hard time answering questions directly sometimes. Just this type of question has a lot that goes into it. And
Yeah.
one thing I was going to say before is, and this is not to classify people. I don't want to do that, but if you're thinking about, like you said, I want to find someone who's going to disagree with us.
Yeah.
So if we're really thinking like that, like who can I call that's going to disagree? Are you going to think about how much money they have? Are you going to think about, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
is someone who's wealthier going to disagree with us? Is someone who
Disagree.
has less money going to disagree? And I don't necessarily think that is
The
a marker,
case?
because like you said, someone with less money is, yeah, probably gonna, they're going to need more money, or they're going to feel happier when they have more money, but they're also going to value money a little bit differently, right? Maybe not
Yeah.
more, but they're going to value it differently.
Right.
Where people who are more wealthy, they're going to say money brings them happiness, probably, right? Or you just don't know. So, and it
Hmm.
comes down to, their idea of, they might not even feel that they're wealthy, but to
Yeah.
someone who, like I kind of mentioned, I could just speak for myself, like is literally paycheck to paycheck. It's like, yeah, you are. If you're not paycheck to paycheck, you're wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
just that type of thing. So something to think about as
Wealth
well.
is wealth is equated to, at least I equate it to time. I
Mhm.
don't equate wealth with money. I stay away from doing that just because, again, how much time do you really have to do the things you love is literally how I look at just wealth. If you have, because again, we're all here to do something, and for us to be able to do something in exchange, we're going to get money for it. So it's what are you spending that time doing is what's going to identify the wealth aspect of it. And
Mhm.
that's why I kind of say I don't put a monetary number to it. Yeah, sure. I call anyone who's rich, I'll put money to that. But when we say
Mhm.
the word wealth, I just
Yeah.
strictly I focus on time. It's like, well, if someone is really wealthy, well, what do you do with your time? And that's going to identify, at least for me, how wealthy you are or not. If your wealth looks like, hey, you're going to, you're going to school to teach, you're being a teacher, all right,
Mhm.
and hey, then you're wealthy because you're doing the things that you love at the end of the day, and can't no one take that away from you. So
Yeah.
till next time, keep on applying those perspectives, education, growth, and collaboration, y'all.